Good morning, everyone. So
What's
excited
up?
to be here with one of my good friends, I would say, Brian. Hello. You are in Mexico right now, right?
Yes, right now I'm in Mexico. I could be somewhere else in a few weeks from now. But hey, what's up, guys?
It's so good to have you here. I know I've been trying to get you to come on this podcast for a while, and you're always like, I'm too busy making money. Right? Isn't that what you do, right?
Yeah, actually, that was my very, very priority in the beginning. But like over time, I've noticed that I'm becoming like I still have like people like working with me and all that stuff. But yeah, like money has never left my mind.
I see. Well, we met. When did we meet, Brian? 3 years ago or 4 years ago?
Actually, before the podcast went live, I thought it was 17 because there was like I knew there was like a difference there. Like it's either 17 or 21, but it was actually no 20 because 21 is the legal age for drinking.
Right.
And so I remember like we met at this event, and then you invited me to like, hey, let's go have a drink. I was like, man, like I wish, but I can't because I'm not even legally able to drink.
I know. You
But
just always seem so mature. And I remember it was a group of us from the mastermind and we were in Vegas, right? And we're like,
mhm.
let's go have a drink. And poor Brian had to sit outside and wait for us because you're only 20. So but always good times. And I think everyone at the event was just so surprised to see such a young successful man in a room of what, 200 plus people that were all super FBA sellers. And there was you who you were only 20. So would you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, and when did you start Amazon in the first place?
Yeah, so as of the moment, I'm 22 years old. I started Amazon ever since I'm 17 years old. And right now, what I do most of the time is I manage the business. I also introduce more products for the brand, and also looking to sell the business. But I think we'll get later into that podcast of potentially just even keeping the business because there's even methods to like go offshore to even save more on or paying less in taxes. But yeah, I started in age 17, and the thing that happened that really was a learning lesson is that at age 17, I started the business with my dad, right? It was like a general partnership, and it was like 50-50. We split the expenses, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do all of the work, right? And then my dad, he was just like the person like funding for the inventory, the marketing, everything. And so I was like, okay, that's good. And I was researching and researching, and then I found this product. Like, well, to me, it was a really, really good product. It's like these travel dog bowls. I think you can like see a lot of those on Amazon these days. Like these travel dog bowls that you can collapse them, like store them in your bag and all that stuff. And then when we launched the product, I remember the first time we had that first sale. You know, the Amazon seller. Hello, Wellington. What's up? Good morning. Good morning. and uh, and yeah, I had this travel dog bowl in my backpack, and I remember selling, like having the Amazon selling app, and then seeing the first sale there, and I was like in my living room, and I was like, oh my gosh, like dad, look, and I run up to the kitchen where he's sitting. I was like, dad, look, we got our first sale, like look at this, and like the first sale was like probably like $11.49, like it's not that much, but but back then I was thinking like, okay, like minimum wage is like 7.25. If I work 8 hours times like let's say $7, that's like I just need to replace like $56 or around there of income per day. As like as long as I make a few sales, like then I'm done. Like I'm good. But like I was really, really naive at that time. Like I was really young, like 17. I was like, oh, like of course you have other expenses like rent and food. And so yeah, like I remember having that business. It failed. My dad told me like, "Hey, Danny, my nickname is Danny, so that's how come I have a connection with the host of this podcast." But yeah, the business failed, and I told my dad like, "Hey, Dad, like I'm gonna continue this business. Like you can join me or not, but I'm gonna continue this business because I still believe in the process." And my dad's like, "No, like come join me in my business." He was like selling cars, like buying, selling like used cars, and it was like really good business then. But like nowadays, like, with the economy, nah, never. But but yeah, like also I know that you've met Ty Lopez before, right, Isabella?
I have, yes.
Yeah, he's actually the guy that exposed me to this whole Amazon. Like, I didn't meet him personally, but he was like promoting this Amazon course, and like I couldn't afford it. It was like $3,000 or something like that. But yeah, like that's what really got me into the game.
So you got the course and you're like, I can definitely do this. So when you first started, you had no idea about Amazon. You just got the product, you thought it was going to work, you listed it and you failed, right? And that's when you decided to get the course?
Yeah, so actually Tai Lopez, like he just exposed like I didn't even buy the course. I just knew that it
Mhm.
existed. And so that's when I
Gotcha.
just did my own research on YouTube and all that. But yeah, like I had the business fail, but then I continued the business. Like it just went on to like, okay, I'm gonna do research my new product. And like I searched for all these methods and XYZ on YouTube. And the Amazing Seller podcast, I think it's called. I think he still runs to this day. But yeah, like he's a person that I followed a lot. Also, what was it? FBA High Rollers. Oh, APM, AMPM podcast. And yeah, like I I remember also like there's like this method of like using Jungle Scout's like supplier database. And like,
Mhm.
during that time, I was like living with my parents, and I told them like, hey, like I'm sorry, but I can't go to our friend's house because they were saying like, hey, we're gonna go to a friend's house and party. I was like, I cannot go. Like I'm studying right now. I'm studying like my next product, and so I would be studying my next product, and then they was like, no, no, you have to go. You have to go. Like you have to take a break. You're working too hard. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go there, but I'm gonna work over there at the party. And it's like, okay, bring your laptop, bring everything. I was like, okay, okay. I bring my things, and I remember like being there studying, like da da da, and that's actually when I found my big product or the brand that I run today, which like, and the reason why I'm saying this is because like there's a famous quote. I forgot I think it's by Buddha, but he says like the temptation to give up is at its highest before you give up. And have I given up? But when I went to the party, like, oh, let me just go party and have some fun. I would not have found that product and decide to go with it. So yeah.
That's amazing to have such mind for business at such an early age. I think a lot of us can think about that. Man, I wish I would have started earlier because I meet a lot of sellers. They're like, wow, if I would have started like even 5 years ago or whenever, it's always so good to see that you had this like business bug. Was your dad ever upset that he didn't join you in your second business?
Yeah, I don't remind him. I don't want to remind him because I don't want to make him feel bad. But like I would feel bad if I did not stick with the second business. And like back then, like it was really, really risky. Like looking back, I did not know how naive I was, how much I didn't know. But like that's like a part of life, right? And that's like also the best part. The best part is not knowing what's ahead so that you get your feet into the waters and start exploring what it is. And then once you're thick in the woods, like then you're like essentially forced to make it work because you're already so much into it.
Did you have like, even when you were even younger than 17, because that's when you discovered Amazon, but did you always have that like entrepreneur bug where you would try to like sell things when you were younger, or did you ever go into anything like this?
Yeah, yeah. So I have to admit this. I hope the IRS or the any foundations don't come after me. But I remember my dad. He's like the guy that got me into this business, and not Amazon, but like business in general. Like, and I owe like a lot of success to him. And like I have it inside of me, and like my dad also has it inside of him. Like in our family, on my dad's side, like it's always business, business, business. And yeah, it all started by like buying and selling these energy bars at the gym. And he said like, hey, like Danny or Bryant, you can sell these energy bars like from Sam's Club and like resell it at the gym. And I was like, yeah, but how am I gonna do that? Like there's already vending machines and blah blah. Like, hey, you just stand there and you just sell it and like tell them something. Like tell them that you're fundraising money to go on a trip to Turkey. And actually, the school that I was going to, I hate the school so much, but the school I was going to, they have these trips that like every year, like if you qualify, you can go to Turkey, right? You go to Turkey, and I would use that as an excuse, like, hey, I'm fundraising this trip for me to go to Turkey. It's like, oh, like you're like 13 years old, like let me go buy a bar from you. But like, it's very funny how things switch around because like now, like what was it like in December, like yeah, like early this year, I just came back from Turkey, and like instead of like by myself, I provided it, and like I get to travel like on my own rules, not just like from some school like fundraising it. Oh, and by the way, if anyone wants to know how Turkey went, you can go to brianlozano.com and see the YouTube video. It's it's good.
I would love to see it. So you've been traveling a lot these days since your business is doing
Mhm.
so good. What have you been up to?
Yeah, so traveling has like become like a passion of mine. It actually was a passion of mine before I even started because a lot of the like what fueled me to start is watching like there's this YouTube influencer called Jay Alvarez. Have you heard of him?
Oh no, I can't say I have.
No. Yeah, Jay Alvarez, he's like this famous not well yeah, famous YouTuber that like posts like these travel montage videos on YouTube, and I would watch them and I'll be like, damn, like I wish I could have the ability to create those videos. And the video I made on YouTube about Turkey is kind of like my first video and like the kind of videos I want to do in the future. But now like with what's going on right now, like it's not even possible. Well, it is possible, but it's not at its best. But yeah, like I used to watch his videos, and that's like what fueled me. Like I would even like close my eyes and like listen to like this really good music and like vision my life like in those scenes of like traveling really awesome and yeah, like that's what really fueled me. And then it just happened by accident. I was gonna do like some business in Vietnam, and I decided to like, okay, like, I can take this as a business expense and go to Vietnam and then meet contacts over there. And I told my parents like, hey, I may not come back if I like it over there. I may not come back, and maybe I most likely will not come back. And I told everyone like, and they did not believe me. The only one person that believed me was like my little brother. And I remember like being at the airport and like we would like hug each other. I would hug my mom. My mom, she cries really easily. I would hug my mom. She didn't even cry. And then I was like, well, that's really weird. Like maybe she doesn't love me. but 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 like maybe like something's going on. Like maybe she didn't believe I was gonna come back. But then like my little brother, he does not cry a lot. But like when we hugged and like we were telling each other like really nice words, like we were both crying. And he said like he knew I was not gonna come back because he just knows my personality. Like when I put my mind into something, like I do it, and if it doesn't turn out, then okay, but at least I tried. And yeah, I did go to Vietnam, and so some crazy things happened, but I went there and I like learned that like it's awesome to be in a different country and that you can work online. And like that's like what Amazon's all about. Like you gives you personal freedom to make money online, but also work when you want to work. Like there's been days where I just tell my VAs like, hey guys, I'm gonna be out the whole day because I'm with my girlfriend or I'm with blah blah blah. And like that's the best part about Amazon. And but yeah, I went to Vietnam and I stayed there for a week, 2 weeks. I was like that. I really like this, and I stayed. I told my parents like, hey guys, I'm not coming back. But that's after they were calling me like, hey Danny or hey Brian, like when are you gonna come back? When are you gonna come back? Like I'm not gonna come back. I'm not gonna come back. And then 1 month turned to 2 months, 3 months, and I stayed there for 6 months in Vietnam. Um, I almost died being in Vietnam, but um,
How wait, what do you mean you almost died? Tell us about that.
yeah, so yeah, do not do this at home. Well, actually, when I was in Vietnam, the thing is that it was like in the New Year's, right? And like there's this island called Phu Quoc, and I was living in Da Nang. So Da Nang is like a beach city in Vietnam, very beautiful. And I decided that okay, for the New Year's, like that's my first time for the New Year's by myself, like well not by myself, but like in a different country with no family. Like this is what I dreamed of. Like this is like one of my goals. Like so how do I do it big? And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to this island called Phu Quoc, and it's like it's very touristy island. Like it's really expensive, by the way. But yeah, like I would go there, and I think I landed like in December 29th or something. And like when I landed at the airport, I talked with some people. It's like, hey, there's this party, like this huge party. I forgot what it's called, but it's a huge party. I was like, hey, like we should all go. It's like, okay, let's go. And then, but I needed to go to my hotel. And then so the day came, right? And I decided, okay, and it's nighttime, like, and also I've never driven, like, like those motorbikes,
Mhm.
whatever. And so like it was my first time
The
also,
tuk
and like I,
aren't they called tuk-tuks? The
I have no
tuk-tuks?
idea. I have no idea. Is that Vietnam language or?
Oh, well, no, because I used to live in Burma, and Burma and Thailand, they had the same name for it. So I figured Vietnam also. Tuk tuk. Yes.
Oh, what
Very,
country is
very,
what country is that?
very dangerous. Burma.
Yeah, very dangerous. Like which
Yes.
one?
It did, I said
Okay,
in
yeah.
Burma.
So
Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I would rent these things, and like they didn't ask for like a driver's license or like any experience. Hey, it's like, hey, here it is. Here's the how to turn, accelerate, blah blah. I was like, okay, that's good. And I went the whole day traveling, and like it went well. Like I visited some places, took some really nice photos, and then the night came, which is for the New Year's, and I was like, okay, like the same as usual. I can go in my car. I mean, my motorbike, and then go. But yeah, I was going, right? I was going at a good speed, and like this taxi, like in Vietnam, it's like very, very trafficy, like very well, lots of traffic. This taxi would come into like the middle of like my lane and stop right in the middle of my lane, and I would need to turn to like not hit the car, right? And then when I go back into my lane, there was just like not enough space, and so like obviously like there's this huge ass planter. Oh, sorry, I can't say any words, right? So there's like this huge
You're
planter on the corner. There's like this huge planter on the side of the corner, and I like there's not enough time for me to turn and get it back into my road. So I was right going right into the planter, and I was thinking like, oh man, like oh no, and then I crashed into it, and I flew like I flew, and then like my face like head first, my face like scraped the road, and then it hit like against my arm, and I think I was like unconscious for like a second or something, and then I woke up and I was like, whoa, like what's going on? And like as I mentioned before, like it's very trafficky, right? So like people can like pass by you or even like squish you too. I was like, oh my god, I gotta get out of here. And so I go to the sidewalk and like I rest there, but like little did I know, like there's like these people like around me. He's like, hey, are you okay? Like I saw what happened, and I was like, hey, I'm fine. Like I'm going to this party. I still need to get there. And like, dude, like, look at yourself. Like, there's like blood coming out your nose, your mouth, and like your arm. Like, can you even move your arm? And I was like, I moved my arm a bit. I was like, no, I can still go. I can still go. And then, but then, like, like with adrenaline, right? Like, you don't know what you're feeling, but like, I had
right.
adrenaline, and so like, yeah, I went to the hospital. My elbow was dislocated, and my wrist was fractured, and I had like some road burns on my face, and yeah, but so yeah, don't make sure that you have enough practice when you're driving. You know the roads, especially in the
Yeah.
tourist islands.
Yes, and Asia is very it's very busy. I remember like both Thailand and Burma, like the traffic was out of this world, like nothing I've ever seen, and a lot of accidents happen all the time because there's almost no rules there, right? It looks like there's no rules. Everybody kind of does whatever they want. So unless you're like an experienced motorbike rider, then you can definitely get in trouble. So were you in a hospital a long time, or they let you go home? What happened?
Yeah, so I was in the hospital, and yeah, like the traffic is terrible. Like I would be like on these like Uber like motorbike rides, and like these guys would like be swerving in traffic. I'm like, how are you guys doing this? Like, but yeah, I was like in the hospital. I was there for like 2 hours because I didn't have my credit cards, my passport, nothing, because I was thinking like, oh, if I go to the party with those materials, like someone might steal from me, and then but it ended up like backfiring. So so yeah, I was there for 2 hours in pain. Like I would tell the nurse, like, hey, like my arms feel like it's gonna explode. Like I thought like there was blood building up in my arm and like it was gonna explode. It was like it's okay. Like those are the side effects. Like oh my god, like what side effects? I feel like it's gonna explode. And I told like hey guys, I can show you my bank account. Like I'm gonna pay for whatever it costs. Like just to show you. I was like
You're
no,
like,
like
"Look,
we have.
I'm an Amazon seller. I make money. Okay? Here it is." That's
Yeah,
funny.
I told like I'm gonna be on the Seller Sessions podcast. Like I'm solid, but
You're so
like
funny, man.
I'll be late. They would say like, hey Brian, like lay down. Like we're gonna look at you. I was like, okay, I'm gonna lay down. I couldn't even lay down. Like my arm was just so messed up. I was like, okay, I can't do that. I was like, and they were like, no, go sit. Like lay down, lay down. I was like, no, and like it would really hurt, and they would think I would be acting. And and yeah, like yeah, but
That's
it's funny.
that's interesting. So you
And
stayed in Vietnam for 6 months, yes? And then you went home after the accident, or you stayed a little longer?
oh yeah, I stayed. My parents were definitely worried. I went back to my hotel after everything was done, and I could not even lay down. It was so painful, and I would be sitting like this, and I would sleep on the corner of the room, just putting my back against the wall because I couldn't even lay down. I
Oh
would
my
just sleep sitting down. But but yeah, like I was in Vietnam for like 6 months, even with the accident and all that. But I went back home for like a couple days because I can't be in the United States for more than 30 days of the past 12 months. It's not because I'm doing anything illegal,
Oh,
guys. It's
yeah.
just
Are you a fugitive, or is there something you
what?
need to tell us? Are you a fugitive?
Uh, well, I'm in Mexico, so no, I'm just kidding. Nah, so I mean, there's this law that I learned about like a couple years ago. It's called the Foreign Income Exclusion Act, and like they say that if you live outside of the United States for more than like 330 days for the past 12 months. So like you can start in March, like March 2020 and then March 2021. If during that whole time frame you haven't been in the United States for like 35 days or more, and guys, I'm not a lawyer, so don't sue me, but 35 days, and so you can basically, for example, let's say you make $100,000 in income. The Foreign Income Exclusion Act allows you to deduct $100,000 from your income. So the $100,000 of income that you earned, you no longer have to pay for that, and you can actually get like a refund from the IRS. And actually, this calendar year is my first time like qualifying for that. So let's just see how it turns out. But that's what my accountant told me.
Is that why you
And
made?
so yeah,
Is that
I went.
is that why you moved to Mexico?
I mean, I can pretty much move anywhere. So yeah, a bit of a story why I left Vietnam is because China with the whole virus and all this stuff. I was thinking Vietnam's going to be the next one to be affected by China, right? Because it's right above Vietnam. And so I was like, okay, I gotta bounce. And then I left. I went to United States for like 5 days or so. I was like, okay, like where's my next destination? I was like, well, it has to be within Asia because the insurance I bought only qualifies for Asia countries. So I was like, okay, what's the country furthest from China and is in Asia? I was like, okay, Turkey. So I went to Turkey, and and then kind of backfired because then the virus is just like following me, and then just affected the whole world. So so I was in Turkey for like 4 months, and my visa expires in 3 months, but I was there for 4 months, so I was actually overstaying my visa because of like the flights were just so occupied. And then now I'm in Mexico because visa expires like every 6 months for U.S. citizens, and my visa actually expires actually in exactly 1 month, so December 16th. So I'm thinking of going to Serbia.
Wow. So you are a world traveler. So how do you pick your places? You just decide you're like, okay, I want to try living in this country, or there's a reason behind picking the places that you did?
I've well for like Vietnam to Turkey, that was just for insurance and yeah, for insurance. And then Mexico was for like because of 6 months, and also like the city I'm in, which is Merida, is like the safest city. It's actually ranked the second safest city in all of North America, and it's in Mexico, so that shows a lot. Like literally like every 10 minutes, I see like a police car like run by and run through the city. But now this time, like I've noticed, like I don't really like the heat. I don't like the hotness, and so like okay, I want something cold, and so Serbia is like one of like the only countries that has like really low restrictions, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Serbia. It's cold, and let's see how that turns out.
That's amazing. So you're gonna keep doing this for the next years to come, keep traveling, keep working in these locations. And did you ever think about sourcing from these countries, or was that your primary goal when you went to Vietnam?
Sourcing, yeah, so sourcing in Vietnam, making connections, yes, that like has helped me out tremendously, especially like during the pandemic. Um, like everyone says, like it goes down like how deep your relationships are, and like yeah, like meeting your suppliers and having like dinners with them, meeting their family, and like having other connections there to also be in contact with those business contacts is also like really, really helpful. So I think the investment I made to go there and since the beginning to like meet my contacts really proved itself during the pandemic because everyone was in panic mode.
Are your
But in,
products sourced in Vietnam, your main product, or in China, or US, or all three?
so right now it's most of our products are sourced in Vietnam, and right now we're upcoming with like new products in China, and yeah, because the whole 25% duty tariff and like right now with the Biden presidency, I'm expecting that to go away, but who knows? And but yeah, that's it.
I see. So you wouldn't be coming back to live in US, right? You still like the tax exemptions of living in another country, but here, right?
Yeah, like imagine like going back to the United States is great, but it's also really expensive compared to what, how much money can go as far as compared to United States to like here in Mexico. Like even with the Foreign Exclusion Act, like the taxes I would save on during like that tax like law like pays by itself like my food and my rent. So like my rent and food is basically paid for free. And so if you think of it in that way, like it is really worth going out there and exploring like what countries you really like. And there's actually like this resource I'm looking at on YouTube called Nomad Capitalist. He's becoming really popular these days. But yeah, like he offers these services to like legally build your company offshore so that you don't have to be susceptible to all these tax implications in the United States. Like you can get citizenships in different countries, residencies, and it's something that I'm looking into. They actually have an event in Mexico in May of 2021, and so yeah, it's something that I'm definitely exploring since like first, like I think you should like actually travel before you even explore the possibility of that because some people just don't like to travel. They just like to stay in one place. Like I like to stay in one place for some time. Like that's why I stay in one place for like 6 months, 4 months, 5 months, and then go off to the next country to really explore the culture and the people here.
And do you usually travel by yourself, or you have a friend that you travel with?
So no, I travel by myself, but I do make friends here, and I think you can already tell by my Instagram as well.
Yes, I
But
I've seen
yeah,
yours.
but yeah, but also like I have made like a lot of friends here, but I only keep up with like five or six because like really like it's also an opportunity like you can also explore and like select which friends like you really want to be with that really like motivate you and like become a better person because like they say like you are the average of your circle of friends and like to be honest like that reminds me back then like years ago when I was starting this whole Amazon business like I didn't have a lot of friends back then when I was starting the business and like when you combine like entrepreneurship online and that by itself is like very very lonely like you have your family doing their things their friends like I would see my friends like going out at parties and you know, a bunch of things, and I'll be like, yeah, like that looks fun. But like oftentimes the things that they have fun with, like it's very, very temporary. Like drinking with your friends and having parties, like that's only temporary. You're only going to remember it for a few days and then it's gone, like it's out of your memory. But instead, you can sacrifice a few years or sacrifice some time to like, hey, the future I see myself having is a lot greater than the temporary satisfaction of, you know, partying or being with my friends or all this other stuff. And I remember like during the whole pandemic, I would see my friends like complaining. They would complain like, "Oh my God, I'm graduating and I can't find a job, or I'm working XYZ place." And like I wanted to tell them like, "Hey, like I told you guys, like you don't have to go to school." Like I would tell a lot of my friends that you don't have to go to school to be successful. Like it's just as risky for working for someone else as having your own business. But having your own business, you know, you have more control over that. Um, and yeah, so I would think that like all this time of sacrificing, not socializing a lot, and I would think like, is it really worth it? And like for a long time, I would think that way. I would think for 2 3 years, like is it really worth it to sacrifice all this time? And I remember a few months ago, it's probably in July or August. I remember having this video call with my mom, and my mom, she like supported me so much during my first years, like emotionally, and so I owe it a lot to her. And I always tell her everything. And I told her, I was like, "Hey mom, like I've been thinking like all the stress, all the sacrifices I made, like I thought I was doing something bad, like there's just something wrong with me." And but like looking back, uh, you really like in hindsight, you really see like, hey, this it was really worth it. Like the years of sacrifice, I now have 20, 30, 40, 50 years ahead of me to live. And instead of like, you know, putting it off to like a later date in my 30s. And like there's like this famous story. Um this guy named Dan Bilzerian. You know him, Dan Bilzerian.
I don't know him
Yeah.
personally,
So
but I have heard of
yeah,
him.
well, I mean neither, me neither. I wish I knew him personally, but I know his Instagram.
You're
And so
going to
like I
be the
remember,
next Dan Bilzerian, Bryant, I think.
huh?
I
What?
think you're gonna be the next Dan Bilzerian.
Oh, that's in Missouri. Who knows? Uh, but yeah, so I remember him posting on his Instagram story like a year ago or something, and he would say like, oh, it was actually a YouTube video, and he said like, there's like this China story or this something like that that you know there would be like this farmer right in this village, and he was like the provider of food. Like he would harvest crops and everything like that. And you know, something bad would happen. Something like, oh, like, hey, your horse has ran off to to very very far and is no longer here. Don't you feel bad about this? And the farmer would say like, I don't know. Ask me in 20 years. And then another bad thing would happen, like, hey, your son, you know, got drafted into the war. You know, what do you think about that? It's like, oh well, ask me in 20 years. Another thing would happen, like, oh, your wife just died. I don't know, something like that. Something really bad happened. And it's like, I don't know, ask me in 20 years. And the whole point of this is that you don't know at the present if an event is in your favor or not, if it's positive or negative. And one might label it as a negative or even a positive. Like one could, you know, be a millionaire by winning the lottery and say, oh my God, this is the best thing that's happened to me. But ask him in 20 years and see how his life is. See if he has any debt. See if he has any loyal friends. You know, you really don't know what's happening in your life right now and if it's going to be in your favor 20, 30 years from now. Like who knows? Like the lifestyle I have now may not be good for me in 20 years from now. I mean, I highly doubt it. I mean, I'm gonna try my best not to happen, but yeah, it's back then I would be thinking like, is this the right path for me? Am I doing the right thing? And like there would be a lot of negative people saying like, or even I love my dad. He has supported me a lot. But in the beginning, like people would tell you like I'm more proud of your brother that graduated from school. And I'm like, and I remember telling him in the kitchen, I was like, hey dad, you know, you're gonna watch in the future and you're gonna see, you know, how those words turn out. And then yeah, I proved them wrong.
Yeah,
But
that's a great feeling, huh?
yeah, and there will be a lot of negative sayers, and a lot of average people telling you to bring you down because they either miss you or they don't want to lose you, just trying to bring you down, to bring you down to their level so that you stay within their circle. But in order to get above average results, you have to become more than average. So
You are so
yeah,
awesome,
I think.
Ryan. So, where do you think these ideals come to you? Because a lot of people walk around and don't even think of these things that you were just talking about, like having working now, saving money now, and enjoying later. Whereas most people want to like spend everything now and enjoy now because they don't want to eventually get old and have. Where do you think these ideals come to you? Is it just innate,
Mhm.
or is it something you read in a book, or how do you form your mindset around this so well?
Yeah, so like then again, like my foundation years ago when I was starting this whole thing, really planted a lot of seeds for me, like in my thoughts and how I do things long term. And like there'd be like podcasts, resources, YouTube videos that I will listen to. Like I remember laying in a hammock, like in my backyard. There's like these two big trees, and I'll put a hammock there, and like I'll be laying there for 3 hours, 4 hours, like every single day. And like it sounds pretty time consuming and like a waste of time, but like I would just lay there and listen. I'll put my headphones on and I will listen to like this podcast that really helped me out. Right now, before it was called the MF CEO. Do you know him?
Mm-mm.
The MF CEO, or the MF CEO is the name of the podcast. The name of the person of the podcast is called Andy Frisella. Right now, he has a new podcast, which is like the upgraded version of the MF CEO. It's called Real AF. Um, and he would it's basically like showing you like how to have discipline, like telling you life lessons that he learned, and like how one should implement, how one should think. And that podcast has like really helped me a lot. Also like watching YouTube videos, like for example me dropping out of college. I think it was like my second, like early second year in college, I dropped out, and like that was a really big life decision for me. And like I would watch these like YouTube videos. I was like, okay, like is college right for you? Is like, well, you have to have these characteristics, and you have to have blah 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 blah. And like I watch these videos, like I fit the profile of a person that is ideally should be dropping out, which is disciplined, motivated, hard work, you know always moving forward, right? And but a person that needs more, I don't know, needs someone to give them tasks like homework, or hey, this homework's due by Friday, or hey, come to class by 8 a.m., like, or waking up at 8 a.m., like those kind of people like would need school. Well, yeah. And like I would say like, okay, I fit this person, like, and I'm already focusing so much time in my Amazon business, then why am I going to be at school? And it's taken a lot of time for me. And I remember I was in an astronomy class, and like I've just been so focused on the Amazon business. Like there would be like this test upcoming on the next Friday, and I would be like, oh, I need to study for a test, but I was like, oh no, but I'm working on the Amazon business. And then the day came, I needed to do the test. I took the test. I thought I did well, but I didn't even study for it. So I mean, I guess that's the reason for the bad grade. But I got a really bad grade. I got like a 29 or something like that. And I looked at my grades for all my classes, like I'm already failing. I might as well just drop out. And then I guess the little few friends I made in class, I stopped seeing them. And then yeah, I just stayed in the house more time. I didn't even tell my parents about what I did dropping out of school. I was just in my house just working. And then I think after 2 or 3 weeks, my mom told me, he's like, we were driving to my dad's car lot because to help him out with some work. And yeah, she said, hey, hey Brian, you're not going to school, are you? I'm like, nope, I'm not. And like instead of screaming, instead of having like a really aggressive reaction, it's like, I wish you would have told me sooner, because that's a big decision. And like, ah, yeah, blah 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 blah. But yeah, like it was a huge risk on my part, huge risk. But the whole point of focusing 100% on this Amazon business is to make sure it doesn't fail. And And yeah, and I'm glad that I took the risk.
That's amazing. Do your friends even understand what you're doing? Like, do they even understand the concept of Amazon? And do you try to teach them how to become successful entrepreneurs like yourself?
I mean, yeah, like these, I mean, people think it's easy, and it is actually easy. Amazon business is really easy compared to having a retail business or any other thing. It's really easy in comparison. But Amazon, um, it's not carrots and peas. It's very, it has some level of difficulty depending on how much of growth you want to have. But yeah, I would have friends ask me like on my Instagram, they would see how I would travel to Vietnam, Turkey, and Mexico, and they were like, "Hey, Bryant, I haven't been following your Instagram, and but I've been following it recently, and like, what do you do? What do you do for a living?" And then I tell them I sell drugs, and
As a
then
responsible young adult, it's something you would say. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I did tell them that, and actually, the first person that asked me that, I told them. And they was like, "Ah, no, I'm just kidding." I was like, "Ah, ha, ha," because they're their friend, right? But there would be some people that I don't even like. I know that they were with me in high school, but they would just message me, and then it's like, "What do you do?" I was like, "Oh, I sell drugs." And then they was like, "Oh, okay." And then they would stop talking to me, which is fine. Like I don't really care, but like I just feel like, and it's just really funny to me because like people that you once knew are now wanting to know you, and then like I don't really want to associate myself with people that just like, oh, they see myself doing this, but they weren't with me since the beginning. And but yeah, I do tell them the truth eventually. I mean, not to that one person, but I do tell them eventually. Yeah.
That's yeah. So that person still thinks you're selling drugs. Are you referring to supplements, or are we talking about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Supplements a very rich niche.
Yes.
No,
So
drugs. Don't do drugs, guys. Don't do drugs.
I want to ask you, what are some like the mistakes that you've done that looking back you wish you hadn't done in your Amazon business?
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, there's so much. Um, The the one thing I learned 2020 is like who you hire. So a lot of my mentors, they preach online jobs PH. And I'm not trying to throw trash at online jobs PH. I know a lot of successful people that have done really well with online jobs. And but for me, I don't know, for some reason it just didn't suit me. And like I would hire, this VA would get like really, really good at an interview and I was like, okay, you're hired, and they would go through the material and then they cannot perform, and I would be like, why can't they do this? And I was struggling this for 2 or 3 years, and like the problem was right in front of me, but just so many people promoting online jobs and all this stuff was like, why isn't it working for me and not and it's working for others? But yeah, the one solution to this is just really it's Upwork. I've all the VAs I had before from online jobs, they have now left because they either underperformed or the job requirements they just could not meet the job requirements. And I started hiring on Upwork, and I thought Upwork was going to be a bit more expensive than online jobs, but it's actually about the same. And the beautiful thing about Upwork is that you can actually see their profile, like their job success score, the feedback from other people that have posted on there. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I know about this before? Like, I would hire these VAs for like $4 an hour. The same quality VAs, $4 an hour on Upwork. The and I was like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I find out about this? And and so yeah, like now all of my VAs right now, they're not even from the Philippines. They're from Pakistan, and they're super super hardworking. And yeah, so that's probably the one thing which, but also before, having those VAs from online jobs, like I would be worried that like, oh, are they keeping up with their tasks? I don't even know if they're keeping up with their tasks. But like with these new VAs, like it has unloaded like a lot of stress and time on my part to like oversee them. So yeah, I think that's the one piece I learned.
How many VAs do you have right now?
Right now, I have one, two, three. I have um, I have three VAs right now, and there's other VAs, like agencies to run PPC and then all this other stuff. but like 3 VAs on Upwork, yeah.
And are you planning to open more brands in the future? Where are you going to go for the next, let's say, 5 years? Where do you see yourself?
Next 5, oh, that's a good question. So next 5 years, I do see myself still in Amazon business because it is who I am. It's what I know, and Amazon is really here for the long term. And but I do want to say that like years ago, like I would have the goal of I'm going to be the CEO of this huge company and do billions of dollars and da, 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 da. And I was so motivated. But now, like with all this experience and like all this perspectives of traveling and learning and reading books, and I just noticed that like yes, it's great to have those ambitions, and it's good that I have those ambitions because as the quote goes, shoot for the stars, and if you don't land, you at least land on the moon. And I was shooting for the stars. And now I think, I'm not saying I landed on the moon, but I landed in a place where I can now see like, hey, like maybe the high level $1 billion CEO is not the best in my favor as in terms of like how the lifestyle I want to have, the stress levels, the time management, how much time I want to involve myself. And like there's so much opportunities. Like there's dividend investing, um, you can passively like dividend investing is like the most passive you can make. And I discovered this. Well, I was actually exposed to this also dividend investing that's so passive, even more passive than Amazon. But like it's just something that like yeah, my perspective has changed to going high dollar, high $1 billion status to like, hey, if I can relax, travel, and have grow businesses that fits my time management, then that's the place I want to be.
So all this money that you make from Amazon, do you just put it right back into Amazon, or because you mentioned a little bit of the dividend investing, are there other investments that you do that are outside of Amazon?
Yeah, um, so guys, write a piece of paper, get a piece of paper and a pencil because this is very, very valuable information. So dividend investing, I was exposed to the group called the Dividend Machine. So the Dividend Machine is this group, the top, probably the best top performing investor in the world. And you can see exactly what his trades are, what he invests in. And really it's marketed to be as retirement. Like you can just pull up like I don't know, just open up a random stock account on some website, and you can see exactly what kind of trades he recommends. Buy XYZ company at this price and or lower, and then you can reap the benefits of the dividends. And it's really, really helpful, especially if you plan for retirement. I highly recommend it. With the Biden presidency, like it really complicates things because he's trying to increase the capital gains from like the capital gains tax like double and all this stuff. But yeah, it's still really, really good. So the dividend machine and oh, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, investment. So yeah, investments from Amazon business. Like I'm reinvesting it back into the Amazon business. Like we're gonna be launching like 16 new products, hopefully by mid next year. Just reinvesting the dollars, and like over time, like Amazon is becoming more and more valuable. So setting up the business to sell really well is what I've been hearing on podcasts is that when it's your really big payday. And so I've also been exploring that opportunity, but also if it doesn't, if I change my mind or something, because like Amazon business is really, really flexible. Like when I tell you it's a lifestyle business, like it is a lifestyle business. Like you can go out and travel and not worry about it. But yeah, the investments are to reinvest it back into Amazon. That's probably the highest return on your investment, and then whatever's left over, invest into to dividend stocks.
What about real estate? Have you ever considered that? Or just
Real
because you
estate.
love to move so much, you don't want to buy anything to keep you in any place?
Um, yeah, I mean, the nomad capitalist, he actually says like you should buy some real estate because if you want to be like a citizen or a resident of X country, you have to invest some property or open up businesses there. bank account. So I'm not close to that opportunity. I think when I get older, I'm gonna be wanting to do that. But as of this moment, it doesn't really intrigue me because it's just more paperwork and it's just having the building and then something like that's just sitting there. I'd rather just invest into like dividends, dividend stocks. But my mindset could change. I'm not close minded.
I love that. So you're talking a lot about like books and um, things that have inspired you throughout the years. Is there like one book or maybe a movie that has really stuck with you and like changed your whole perspective in life?
Yeah, so movie. So yeah, a movie is the new SpongeBob movie. No, I was kidding. So the one book is called Unscripted, um, by DeMarco. Have you read it before,
No, I
Isabel?
don't have no.
Yeah. Okay, Unscripted. It's super, super good. Like every single page full of knowledge. But the one key takeaway that I took from that book is that he says that life is all about chance. The universe is made through chance. When a planet explodes, because soon the Earth will explode. I'm not trying to be negative here, but soon the Earth will explode in a couple billion years. But, but planets, stars, they blow up. And how they spread out, how they blow up, is not through some mathematical way. It's all through chance. And when they explode, new stars and new planets form from that. And so everything's made through chance. Life is made through chance. A lot of people's successes, including through mine, is made through chance. Yes, we can make all of our calculations and all these things to improve our chances, but everything eventually leads off to chance. So the book says that life is like a gumball machine, right? You put in a quarter, you twist it, you get a gumball, right? And these gumballs have different colors. So there's a green gumball, there's a white gumball, there's a gold gumball, there's a red gumball. And so what are these colors? So there's four colors. Green signifies something good. So let's just say you went to the gym and you got a good workout. Okay, that's a good thing. That's green. A white gumball is something that is just something that just happens, like going like it's neutral. So like for example, going from your house to your workplace, like that's a white gumball. Nothing good or bad happened. It's just neutral. Red is something bad happened. So let's just say you get into a car crash, and gold is something that like you just hit the lottery, like something like fabulous. You won the lottery, or you got a big promotion to be manager to then be CEO or something like that. And he says life is all about chance, and life is like a gumball machine. You put in a quarter, you twist it, and you don't know what color you're gonna get. But the whole point is that you put as many green and gold gumballs into your gumball machine. So let's just say he gives this example of this guy named, let's say these two guys, Juan and Pablo, working at a pizza shop. Juan and Pablo earn the same income. They're living in the same workplace, but when the doors are closed, when the shop is closed, everything's cleaned up, and they need to go back home, that is when chance takes its part. So let's just say Juan goes out to see his friends and go party and go have the time of his life and blah blah blah, blah and spend some money over there. Or compared to Pablo that goes to his house, has a nice bath, relaxes, opens up a book, reads, go invest a couple hours into this new side hustle he wants to do. Who has the more green and gold gumballs? Well, Pablo. Well, I actually forgot the names I gave. Oh yeah, Pablo. Pablo. Yeah, Pablo has more green and gold gumballs, and so he talks about like structuring your life to provide those gumballs. It's really weird how we're talking about gumballs, but you understand the concept. And for example, like reading 30 minutes every day, or even exercising every single day, or investing 1 hour and educating yourself on a course, or like you're putting gumballs, you're increasing the chances of having those gumballs in your machine. Having smoking or going parties, you're decreasing the chances. So whenever someone says, "Oh, I'm gonna get a gumball," "Oh, I got a red one. Why do I have a red one?" It's like, oh, well, just look at yourself, look at your habits, look at your discipline, look at everything you've been doing, and no wonder, no one has, magically walked up to your door and knocked and say, "Hey, here's $1 million." But no, it's all about chance, really, as far as I
So
learned.
you have been playing the Pablo part this past 5 years or longer, right? You got to that point where you're like, okay, I feel
Yeah,
like I'm
but
going in the right
yeah,
direction.
I'm a Pablo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm slowly turning into a Juan. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
But yeah,
you're young.
like, and what?
You should definitely take some of this time to enjoy yourself, and I see you're doing that, so you don't have to tell me. I see your Instagram. You're having a good time, and but you're still very conscientious about your work and where you're going, and I think that's fantastic. And I'm definitely going to get that book. But before we close off here, we only have a few minutes. I know we could talk for literally another 5 hours, probably me and you. But what is one thing that you would advise to somebody watching, whether they're young like you were when you started, or somebody that's in like 30s or 40s or 50s that are feeling like maybe it's too late to even start an Amazon business? What would you say to them?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I would say don't give up. I mean, you only have to be right once. The businesses that I've done before Amazon, because look, I was starting even at age 16. I made a Facebook account, and you can't even have a Facebook account at age 16. And Facebook banned my ad account. And the whole purpose was for me to get into the affiliate marketing. So like, yeah, one can see right now, like, hey, that guy's lucky, or Brian's lucky, or blah blah blah. But really, it took a lot of failures. I failed in affiliate marketing. I failed in my first Amazon business. I failed. I was gonna do drop shipping, and all these other businesses, and I had a lot of good reasons to give up, but you only have to be right once. And when you're right once, take take ownership of it and just carry it with you until the end.
Wow, that's such a wonderful advice.
Yeah.
Some of the people watching today said, "Well done,
Thanks,
Brian."
Fernando.
And Tiffany said good morning. And
And Tiffany.
everybody that's watching, I'm sure they all love to hear from you in the future again. So maybe we'll have you come back here in a year or two and see what magical place you may be at that time. So next year you're going to Serbia, maybe, right? And then who knows?
Uh, Actually, December 16th, I was
You
I was actually going to go back to the United States to visit family, but right now some states are closing up. Michigan's closing up, lockdown. So, I mean, I need to buy a plane ticket soon. So I'm thinking about just going to Serbia,
and
December
you'll
16th.
be
So if
there.
anyone's there, hit me up.
You're gonna be there. You're gonna be there for New Year's
Thanks,
Eve.
Tiffany. New Year's Eve
Yes.
in the United States.
I don't know. Where are
Or
you going to be?
I'm going to be in Serbia. I'm in Serbia.
Anna
Yeah.
Maria is saying, yes, indeed, you only need to be right once. So I think everybody's taken away by your story. I know I am, and I've known you for, 3, 4 years almost, and we don't ever get the chance to really dive
Mhm.
deep into this. But I would love to have you back in the future and see what kind of things you're working on. So I want to thank you so much for being with us today, Brian.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. It's my honor. Thanks, Isabella.
Of course. Thank you. We'll see you soon.